It's Wonderkid to Superstar time, and today we're looking at a central midfielder who is so well balanced that you can use him in pretty much any role you'd like. And we all know the likes of Mariba, Gravenberch and Pedri. This guy I've heard literally no one talk about. I think he's an immense player with a pretty decent valuation for the player that you can get right off the bat, can contribute to many sides in world football. He does absolutely amazing in the simulation, but stick around to watch just what we do with him to make him perform so well. So with that being said, let's run the intro and have a look at this amazing Wonderkid. Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, back with another Wonderkid to Superstar episode, and as I mentioned in that intro, today we're looking at a player who I think is not talked about enough, yet is super effective in the game, and he really is up there in terms of the top class Wonderkid central midfielders of FM22. Before we get into it though, if we could hit 300 likes on today's video, that would be awesome, so smash the like button, let's get to that target, I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we get very close to 135,000 subscribers. Comment down below your rating for the player out of 10, who you'd like to see next, check out my channel linked in the description, and finally we can once again say that this video is sponsored, and it is sponsored by the good people over at Spitch, so let me tell you a quick bit about them and then we'll get into the video. Spitch is a fantasy football app available for people in the UK and Ireland over the age of 18. If you haven't heard us speaking about it so far in any of these videos, it is great fun. Unlike normal fantasy football where you play it on a season-long format, Spitch focuses on weekly competitions that you can enter with a new team each week. There's both free competitions and paid for competitions, both of which have their own unique prizes. All you need to do to get involved is download the link in the description. From there, you'll have to register, you might have to show your ID, and then, like you can hopefully see me doing on screen, you can pick your team, select your captain for bonus points, and use the statistical analysis within Spitch to figure out who'll be the best players for your side. So give it a go, test out your knowledge against other fantasy football players. We greatly appreciate it if you do download the link in the description. But yeah, thank you Spitch again for sponsoring the video. But let's take a look at this Wonderkid, and you'll see we are here in Switzerland, home of the Swiss First Division, where we will find the most reputable club at the start of your save, Young Boys. Now if we go to Young Boys side, you'll see there's barely anyone here. I do not have the Swiss League loaded, I've just got the Spanish League set to large database. There's like 9,000 players in the database, yet the player that we want is in this side, and it is none other than the central midfielder Fabian Rieder. Now if you have heard of him, fair enough, but I really hadn't came across this guy at all in my saves, considering he's a player that should have been in all of them. I find it very hard to believe I've never came across his radar, because he actually does have a 140 to 170 potential range, so if he's on the higher end of that, he's as good as many of the best central midfield Wonderkids in FM22. But what I like most about Fabian is you'll see here, he can do pretty much every role in the midfield to the same kind of level, and that's because his attributes are very well balanced. Now I would argue that maybe at the age of 19 you're not going to get too much of an improvement on the defensive side of his game, so I wouldn't be using him as your defensive pivot in the midfield, but the fact that he can pass, work well in a team, make good decisions, can create chances going forward, but can also work hard across the middle of the park, is physically dominant as well as technically very good, and mentally completely strong in every single area. I'm a very big fan of Fabian Rieder, and he isn't going to cost you too much either. He will be in Young Boys' first team at the age of 19 when you start, so he's further along in his development than some other Wonderkids. Now while that means it might be a little bit harder to get him to his potential, what it does mean is you're getting a player who right from the bat, you don't have to worry about the fact, is he going to be good, is he going to be bad, because even if he doesn't improve that much, even if he's on the lower end of his potential range in your save, he's got enough ability to still contribute to a big chunk of the world's best sides. I've had a save where I could sign him for 6 million, a save where he cost 15, and in this save it looks like he's going to cost us about 10, but this is him on the higher end of his potential range, so I really don't know how that's worked out. But we are Real Madrid, we're going to bring him over to Real Madrid, and I'll show you how we're going to make him a top tier player. So here we are with Rieder at Real Madrid. We have got him in the central midfielder role on attack duty in a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, but we are going to go with a central midfielder on the attack. I really like it this year, and I think we could get some good performances out of Fabian in that position. Arguably he's a better playmaker than he is a central midfielder on attack, but I still think he will do very well for us. If we highlight the attributes he'd need for the role, he suits it down to the ground for me, and I think with the potential he's got to develop, he could be a big player for this Real Madrid side, valued at around £30 million now that we've signed him. I will be using double intensity and a central midfielder on attack to get those attributes up, but I don't see the point in training his defensive game. You guys might if you want to use him in a different role, but I feel because he's already got such a good balance in pretty much everything I want from him, I'm just going to improve on the attributes he's got in that position, and everything else will go up with time. Like I say with this guy, he's so well balanced, got such a good base set that you could do pretty much anything you wanted with him in that central midfield role. You could put him to deep line playmaker, focus on his positioning and his playmaking attributes. Whatever it is you want to do, you'll get a good result out of it. So there we go, that's everything we need to know. So let's fast forward 3 years into the future and see how he's getting on. So I might actually have been wrong, it wasn't 3 years, we've actually gone forward 2 years, and it's been a pretty poor season for our Real Madrid side, but nonetheless, Fabian Rieder is developing the way we'd want him to. He's not doing too well in the match engine just yet, and I made a tactical shift to hopefully fix it out, which I'll show you in a second, which does reap us some amazing rewards. But just to let you guys know, this is Fabian Rieder at the lower end of his potential range. Now a Swiss international, he has developed very well, mentally brilliant, physically also very good, and technically he's pretty immense as well. He's got everything he needs to be to contribute, yet the results haven't been there just yet in the in-match engine. So I've made a bit of a shift in the way we're going to use him. What I'm thinking of doing is dropping the advanced playmaker here, which will give him more room to get forward. Because Rieder is such a good playmaker, I feel like having a playmaker in front of him will cause a few problems in terms of they're both trying to do the same thing. I could be completely wrong, but this is what we're going to go with. We're going to put him as a central midfielder on the attack, the furthest forward of the midfield three, as opposed to being stuck behind someone. Now, this is why I said at the start just to stick with us, because like you saw, he wasn't doing too good. If we go and have a look how he's done so far, he's only hitting, 8 goals in 2 seasons? Not playing all the time and still developing, of course, but still, it's not really the levels we want him to reach, although 6.95 is not bad at all. But we're a Real Madrid side that wants to do much better, and now that we've freed him up to express his attacking creativity with free reign of the pitch, you're about to see a completely different player. Before we do go and have a look at the kind of player Fabian has become, I'd like to let you guys know, you've probably already heard me say it by now, but I do have my own channel linked in the description where we've got some rebuild videos going on as well as a new series on the way. We've just hit 7,000 subscribers and I'd appreciate any support over there as we make the slow push for 10k. So thank you guys for checking it out if you do. I'm sure you'll love it. I hope you will at least. But back to the video. Okay, here we are, 2028. I picked this year because I feel like it's the kind of age where you can consider Fabian Rieder in his prime of his football career. Well, we can see with 13 Player of the Match awards and 27 assists, that might very well be the case for the young Swiss midfielder. Now 26 years of age, 49 caps for the Swiss national team. Physically, very nicely well-rounded, still got everything he needs in that aspect, but mentally and technically, he's only got better and better. The vision, passing and technique, combined with his long shots and first touch, add in his composure, his decision-making, his anticipation. You can see here in his coach report that the fact that he's got so much composure really helps with the skillful nature of his game. He's got some very good attributes, but the fact that his mentality is so good really does help him in the in-match engine, and you can see the rewards from that in the most recent seasons. Since we did the tactical shift and let him free up his creativity, we've got these kind of results out of the man, playing pretty much every single game, hitting around 20 goal contributions every season, and in the most recent season, he's hit 16 goals and 22 assists in the league alone. But this isn't where we're going to stop. I'm quickly going to hop over to Fabian at the end of his career, and then you'll be able to see all of his statistics. So let me just quickly switch to that. And there you go. It's only got better and better for Fabian Rieder. We thought he might have peaked at 7.94. Average match rating wise, that was the case in his prime, but he still managed to hit 15 or 20 goals a season with 10 plus assists in a lot of occasions, 15 plus assists. And in his most recent season, 24 assists, 10 goals. How he's pulling this off at 36 years of age, I don't know. It's like Luka Modric in his current years in real life, where it's like playing beyond belief for his age in the centre of the park, where you would imagine he'd get overrun, but he's doing very well. The world-class midfielder is a model professional, and he will be retiring at the end of his season after one of his best seasons of his career, getting better with age. He is so good in every single area, and those numbers are absolutely insane. 7.83, 7.68. I haven't actually seen this yet, but let's have a look. He was recognised for his talents and achievements with the Spanish League Player of the Year twice, European Champions Cup Midfielder of the Season on 5 occasions, World Footballer of the Year runner-up on 5 occasions, World Golden Ball runner-up on 6. Oh, bless him, man. World Player of the Year, World Footballer of the Year, World Golden Ball. He never won it, but he was runner-up on 6 occasions. However, it was to his Real Madrid teammate, Lorenzo Luca. Both of them must have been combining amazingly, and you could probably class Luca's success down to the absolute creativity wizardry from Fabian Rieder there. Better than Moukoko, better than Haaland, better than Mbappe. Well done to the both of them, but we are of course looking at Fabian Rieder here, who's had an absolutely stunning time at Real Madrid. Like I say, for £10 million, you're getting a player who will contribute to your side no matter what. He's already good enough, and if you get lucky and get him on the higher end of his range and train him however you like him, you're going to get one of the most solid all-round midfield options in Football Manager 22. I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10, a very high rating. I think the only thing that holds him back is the fact that he's not free or £1 million. 10 million is of course an investment or anywhere around that mark, but still I think he's definitely worth it. He's available in most people's saves, I'd imagine, because we did not have the Swiss leagues loaded. What a player, what a star. Fabian Rieder, how has he slipped under the radar for this long? I do not know, but if you haven't tried him yet, buy him, give him a go. You will absolutely love him. I've been Jake for FM Scout. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my channel, linked in the description. And thank you to Spitch for sponsoring the video. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching and goodbye.